Hello friends, welcome to another energy clearing session with SRT. We're going to be clearing the inner child. And my team has already begun doing the clearing work. And while they begin the session, clearing the spaces where the group where you guys are at and getting your alignment, clearing all blocks and interferences out of the way, set your intention to receive this healing, and please play through the end so you make sure the work is complete, because there are specific things that we open and then we close to make it complete. You can be doing other things as long as your intention is to receive the work. So inner child, there's 4 different aspects of the inner child according to spiritual response therapy. There is the inner child made manifest as Christ. There's the divine inner child. There's the spiritual inner child. And one more, I gotta look at my charts real quick. Spiritual child, the Christ aspect, and the inner child aspect of the soul. Now, besides the energy work that we do on the inner child, there is a lot of personal work that we have to do on the inner child, and that's like at a 3D level. You may or may not have heard of reparenting, or doing some EMDR, emotional processing for your brain. A lot of us have had a lot of complex post-traumatic stress disorder, a lot of traumas in our childhood. So whether they're minor or major, it doesn't matter. It still leaves an imprint on the child. There's lots of ways to address the inner child, and this is a group clearing, so it's going to be very superficial, but it's going to get you started and get you an idea of what the inner child work is like. Of course, when I work with you one-on-one, it's very different and very specific. I have a whole protocol on clearing the inner child, and then it's a process, but this is going to begin the process. So if you've been looking to do some inner child work, I certainly hope this helps you. And let's see what we're going to get started on for clearing the inner child. We're going to clear vows. This is the first thing Spirit is showing me. And they're showing me a vow to break a tradition, like I'm never going to be like my parents, or I'm never going to be like them, or my brother, or whoever. Your primary caregiver could be an older sibling, it could be a grandparent, it could just be adopted parents. We're going to do clear vows to follow tradition. So that means this is the way things always were, this is the way they have to be. And so we somehow make a vow, like, or my dad worked in the auto industry, so I'm going to work in the auto industry. And that's a vow. It may be conscious or unconscious, but we're clearing those. We're going to clear a vow to question the status quo. So many of us were taught, like, you know, don't ask why. Of course, children have a million whys. Why is that? So clear the vow to not question the status quo. And what any other vows here? Abdicate love. Well, that makes sense. Religious vows. Sacrifice vows. To abdicate our personal power. Vows of purity and vows of perfection. Any other vows on this chart? Are there any vows on the other charts? Yeah, they're clearing, and we don't have to identify them. Sometimes we go to the charts when we need more information, and a lot of times the work just gets done without what we would call zero time. It just gets cleared. So notice how you feel about your inner child. I don't know if you've done inner child work or what that means. You may want to Google that. Lots of information online on what it means to heal your inner child. So I'm going to go back and before the session, what's the positive on healing the inner child? 0. Negative on healing the inner child? 100% negative. So we always like to check those numbers. We always want everything to be 100% positive and negative. And almost every clearing session that I've done here, that I've posted on my YouTube channel, has been flipped. It's negative to heal the inner child, and we want it to be positive, right? Because that is a huge part of our soul. That's where our inner child lives. And in order to have our soul be free and to be able to do the work that we came here to do, we need to heal the inner child. Again, lots of ways to do that. And I mentioned reparenting, and that is sort of like, you know, if you didn't have a good connection, like things like neglect, abandonment, not feeling safe, not having a secure connection. So we're going to clear those items on where the disconnect was. Some of us weren't heard, we weren't seen, we weren't nurtured, we weren't comforted, things were scary. Just because the child has so limited experience. So it's going to look to its primary caregivers to explain things. And a lot of times our parents didn't have the time or the inclination or maybe even the skills to do that for us. We're going to clear chart 22. We're going to clear the 9 Godhead councils. Awareness of the entire spiritual process from divine plan through return. Our horizons are unlimited. So this was, this is called a New One Universe chart. So clear all souls, the high self and crew of understanding of the New One Universe, and download all the information that we need. Clearing all this charts. Some of this stuff is very complex, and a lot of the spiritual realm things that Robert Detzler, the founder of this system, was channeled, and we're going to break the bonds of 2600 pathways. You don't have to understand everything in order to receive the benefits of the work, so trust that it's getting done. We're going to resolve discord at all levels of chart 3, clear past lives, clean up the dark cycle, and download all the knowledge, light, wisdom, and understanding of being at one with spirit, of being in operating in the law of one, and clear our blocks to aligning with one. What's next for the inner child for the group? We're going to clear some emotional energies. It's my 6A chart. We're going to clear abandonment. We're going to clear doubt. We're going to clear bitterness, betrayal, confusion, intolerance. We're clearing low self-esteem, panic, negativity, conflict, resentment, cruelty, depression, self-destruction, self-centeredness, despair, doom, domineering. Yeah, a lot of discord and energies, clearing frustration. If we didn't get our needs met, clear hate, all different types, clear helplessness. You know, the child just doesn't know, and it sort of makes up things. I think there's another clearing that I'm going to post about inferiority, superiority. So then we just end up with all these complexes that psychiatric world wants to diagnose as mental illness, ADHD, obsessive compulsive, you know, manic depression, bipolar. But a lot of it to me, and I'm not a mental health professional, so please get the support that you need if you need professional medical advice. Clear negativity, malicious energies, clear miseries. There might be misery programs and the wind is kicking up. I hope the bells aren't too loud, but hopefully they're a nice addition to this clearing, and maybe they're helping. Yeah, so to me, in my studies, a lot of this, these mental health disorders, emotional disorders, or just inability, you know, procrastination, just all these emotional behaviors and things come out of this insecure connection, come out of this PTSD from childhood. And most people think about trauma as being, you know, car accident and big things or war, but really anything is considered a trauma if it's not resolved. So unresolved, think about like this thing happened to you, maybe you had a bully at school, or even one of your siblings was a bully, and you never completed that cycle. You never got rid of those feelings that were charged. So let's clear all the disconnection. Let's clear the not being seen, not being heard, not being nurtured, comforted, having a support and a structure and a safe place to get acceptance and understanding, to get the protection that you needed. So those things that happened, they didn't get resolved, and so they come out in a lot of different ways that can disrupt our lives and keep us from moving forward, keep us from healing these aspects of ourselves. So there's a lot of different ways to do this. Sometimes hypnosis helps, doing emotional healing work in lots of ways. And that's the thing about our work here, is that there are so many ways to address our challenges. So find what works for you, and if SRT helps and you're finding benefit from these sessions, please consider a donation and or book a session, because by working together one-on-one, we can really get some big stuff resolved and really start structuring your life and your course forward, so you know what is the crux, like what's the first layer. So what's next for the inner child? We're going to clear archetypes, and these are spiritual archetypes, pre-programming. We're going to clear injustice, frustration, fear of life, self-destruction, and self-limitation. Yeah, the inner child just doesn't understand, and sometimes it self-destructs completely unconsciously. Okay, so it's not anything that we're doing, and a lot of this stuff is also related to a lot of past life energy that the soul is carrying that has been unresolved. Because if we're having challenges now, it totally means that we had challenges in other lives. So Spirit is clearing. Please go and clear all the other, all the other lives that we can clear. Thank you. What's next for the inner child? Okay, we're going to clear some blocks. We're going to clear blocks to happiness, blocks to joy, blocks to laughter, blocks to justice, blocks to trusting, yes, blocks to health, blocks to giving freedom, blocks to patience, blocks to order, blocks to optimism, clearing blocks to confidence, blocks to comfort. Let's clear blocks to forgiveness, blocks to strength, blocks to purpose, desire, and blocks to responsibility. Let's clear blocks to worthiness. And bring in all these energies. Bring in kindness, bring in laughter, bring in comfort. Bring in ways for everybody in this group clearing that can give them the strength, that can give them the determination, give them the order, the constructiveness, the ways to heal and to cope with stress from the inner child distress or the unresolved emotions, so that we can find our way to healing this inner child. We're gonna, some of us carry our inner child with us all the time and are very aware of it, and other parts of us may not be aware of the inner child being with us at all. And it's something that you usually clear and have this conversation in your head. It may be something like parts work. If you haven't heard of that, you may want to look up parts work, and you just allow different aspects of yourself to imagine that you're talking to those parts of yourself. There's role playing. We're going to clear higher level blocks. We're going to clear fine tuning. I know I have to look at that one. This is unwillingness to accept change, unwillingness to let go of old beliefs, unwillingness to cooperate with spirit. Clear blocks to the creative force. Clear abdication of spiritual responsibility. Clear the reasons behind conscious programs. Lots of blocks to the creative force. So that's where our creativity lies, in our inner child. So we definitely want to clear those out. Look for thousands and thousands of blocks. Please do an alpha to omega and find all these blocks, Spirit. Thank you. So we can clear the inner child and all the blocks to the creative force, because we need to have our creative energy right now, especially because life is changing rapidly and we are building a new world as the old system falls apart, and healing ourselves is part of that. So there's so many ways that you can do that. So I hope you're finding your way, clear everybody's way to their healing. Clear everybody and upgrade everybody's high self, spiritual committee, their team. Remove, replace anybody that's not in their highest and greatest good, and bring in new team members as we grow and expand. Our spiritual team works through us and heals through us. So we're getting an upgrade for everybody. What's next? Guardian angels. Do we have the right ones? Do we not have the right ones, or do we have too many? So we don't have the right ones. So remove, replace any guardian angels that are not in our highest and greatest good, because there's lots of beings and lots of angels that want to help us. They may not be the right ones for us. So we're asking to remove those that are no longer in our highest and greatest good, and bring us a team of guardian angels that is best for us. What's next for the group on healing the inner child? Are you showing me 9 or 10? 10A. We have psychic wounds and scarring. So psychic wounds happen when somebody close to us hurts us whether that's mental, emotional, and or physical. And we really loved, deeply loved and trusted them, and it really scars us deeply. That's called a psychic wound, so that goes really deeply into your psyche and your etheric body. So let's clear and heal that out. Some of this stuff can go really, really deep, for sure, and it is best to work with a professional trained counselor to get some of this healing completed. We're gonna clear blocked chakras, restore vital energies, clearing heart vows, because we might have made a vow in our heart like I'll never love again, or I'll never trust you, things like that. So if that's no longer serving, anything that comes on the charts is up for clearing. It only clears out the discord. Clear cellular memory, imprints, conscious and subconscious memory. You know, the imprints, when I work with you one-on-one, there are very specific imprints that can happen at different ages, and we do go through all the ages and all the traumas specifically. We're going to clear karmic beliefs, genetic beliefs, soul program, polarity beliefs, clear all the beliefs that are no longer serving, because the inner child made up a lot of stuff. That's something that you want to check in every once in a while and just like, is this belief really serving me? Is this really mine? Is this my mom's, my sister's? Whose belief is this? Okay, is this chart complete? Let's clear the morphogenetic field resonance of the inner child. And you may have more than one inner child. Sometimes the traumas can be so deep that it sort of fragments our energy, and subconscious clutter, clear subconscious clutter, and parts of us just kind of like get distorted off, walled off. Like maybe it happened at 5, and then again it happened at 8. So you may have a 9-year-old inner child to talk to. You may have a 5-year-old, a 4-year-old, a teen, early teen to talk with in your imagination. You know, that's the kind of parts work that I'm talking about. Like, and it may take some time. You know, I even had a client that we couldn't access the inner child at all. It was so frozen in fear. So again, it's going to be different for everybody. So ask your higher self in your prayers, in your meditations, in your imagination. Ask your higher self and your team to bring you the information that you need for your particular healing for your inner child. And there's a balance between, you know, feeling the bad stuff to heal it, and then go and play and do something joyful and do something fun that your inner child would allow you to do, because we lose that spark of joy and creativity when things happen to us over and over again, and we can reclaim that. So there's definitely hope for all of us, and all of our inner children are just dying to come out and play. So if any of this resonates with you, awesome, take it, use it, find ways to apply the work and the healing and the information that you receive in this clearing. And I really sincerely hope that you find the healing that you need, the comfort, the nourishment, the nurturing. And you know, sometimes we project that onto other people in our relationships, consciously and unconsciously, whether it's a friend, a neighbor, you know, somebody at our church. And we project that onto them thinking we're going to get our needs met, and that's the inner child aspect of us. So talk to that part of you, find a place that's safe inside your own heart where your inner child lives, and talk to them, nurture them, comfort them, give them the protection, give them everything that you need. And if you have somebody in your life that is offering you comfort and protection and safety, you have a solid relationship, that's wonderful. I hope that really supports your healing process. And if not, then we are going to take it upon ourselves to take charge of healing and reparenting our inner child. And like I said, there's lots of things online that you can find. I reference Psychology Today a lot, and some other modalities, EMDR, EFT, that has helped me. And yeah, so find what works for you. I really hope you find all that you need. And thank you so much for watching, as always. I really appreciate you. Positive value to work on the inner child, 100, negative, 0. So we've cleared the path. So thank you. Oops, there goes the camera. We've cleared the path. Thank you so much, and I hope you received exactly what you needed. Take care. Bye-bye.